Hey, it's Katie Moran. Here's your heartfelt lift. Today I'm here with.
Lynn Gillette. I am a life coach in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I help people who are facing challenging times, adversity, to come out the other side feeling so equipped and have the capacity and the courage to create the life that they want to live.
I'd love to hear more about your story.
Yeah, so I was a principal, and in May of 2021, my brother was raising his four girls in North Carolina, and their mom was in her battle with mental illness and addiction, and Jason was in his battle with cancer. And sadly, he passed away in May of 2021. And the girls moved here to Sioux Falls in South Dakota to be raised by my husband and I. And their mom also moved to South Dakota to continue her journey to get well. And tragically, she passed away in May of 2022 of mental illness. And so we are raising their four girls. And I decided to leave my principalship and be more present as I could be for the girls in every way. And
Mhm.
so I'm coaching now with my own business.
That's so wonderful. I'd love to hear from you. How do we choose intentional thoughts in the face of adversity?
Yeah. So I think the first thing we need to be aware of is that our mind will automatically have thoughts about things that are going on.
Mhm.
And 80% of the time, those thoughts are not serving us. 90% of our thoughts are on replay. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
negative thoughts or thoughts that don't serve us replaying in our mind. When you throw in adversity, that really complicates it even more. So what happens is a circumstance is going to happen. Our mind has a thought about it. The thought then releases a chemical in our body that creates a feeling or an emotion. That emotion then drives our action, and the action is what gets us our results. And so what happens is we think that our circumstances are causing our results, but in actuality, it's our thought about the circumstances that are getting us our results. So what
Mhm.
happens is we can change that spinning cycle that gets us absolutely nowhere but stuck. We change that by changing our thoughts. And so when we change our thought about the circumstance and we're intentional about it, even if the thought is hard to believe, right? We have to choose it. That then sets off a different cycle for us. So, for instance, if if I have a client who's going to speak at a large conference, and they come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I am so fearful, I'm so anxious, I can't concentrate, I don't know how this is going to go. We slow it down and we just think, okay, what's happening in our mind? So if we're feeling anxious, what thought is causing that anxiety?
Mhm.
Well, usually the thought is something along the lines of, they're not going to like this presentation, they're not going to like me. That creates that anxiety, which then drives that action of, I'm having a hard time concentrating. I can't even practice sufficiently. I can't even keep my thoughts straight. And then that results in going into this presentation, maybe not their best energy, and it not going as well as what they were hoping for. But if we stop and say, just a sec, hang on a second, what do you want to feel when you go into this presentation? Well, I want to feel confident. Okay, awesome. So let's then start with the thought. What thought will we need to hold in our mind that we will need to choose to believe so that our body is feeling confident? And the thought could be a million different thoughts, right? But let's say the thought they land on is, I am here to serve others. All of a sudden, I change from they're not going to like me to I am here to serve others. That creates a more confident feeling in the body. The action then becomes, I'm looking at my slides. Does the information that I'm sharing, does it serve other people? Will they walk away equipped with something new to learn and apply in their lives? And then that result is you're delivering a much different presentation in a much healthier energy when you're coming from that place of service.
Mhm.
And so it's all though starting with that intentional thought.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm curious because I know when you get in a cycle of having negative thoughts that bring negative feelings, what is the catalyst that allows you to get out of that cycle, and choose a thought that is more uplifting or allows for you to take actions that are beneficial for your growth?
Right. So for me, what I find, and for my clients, is the feeling or emotions that you're feeling in your body. Your body and your mind are very much connected. And so the body can really serve as that barometer to say, okay, something isn't feeling good or something isn't feeling right. So
Mhm.
then we slow it down and say, okay, what am I feeling?
Mhm.
Where am I feeling it? And now let's go up into the mind. What is my mind bringing forward that's causing this feeling and emotion? So
Mhm.
just the awareness of what's happening in your body is a huge catalyst for then figuring out what's happening in the mind.
Mhm. That's so interesting. And something that I love about the word intentional is that it's not necessarily like forcing people to be positive. And that's something I really appreciate in your story is
Mhm.
that you chose to be intentional and you didn't, kind of like when people talk about toxic
Yeah.
positivity, like you
Yeah.
didn't try to like override like the things you had to go through, but you were intentional about like overcoming it and facing the adversity. So I'm curious, like,
Mhm.
what do you find helps you in having courage with that
Mhm.
you don't minimize your own pain or you don't deny your story, but you claim it and you
Mhm.
really own it in a way that you can inspire other people who are going through similar
Mhm.
things?
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to allow yourself to feel the feelings,
Hmm.
because what you resist will persist, and it is like a pressure cooker. So if you continue to resist these feelings and push them down, push them down, push them down,
Hmm.
they will get stronger. And everything is energy. Thoughts are energy, emotions, everything is energy. So if I'm pressing something down, it's like a pressure cooker. It's getting stronger and that energy is getting bigger. And it's like I'm attracting more of what is causing this. And I have got to honor myself and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
And I teach I teach emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. I teach breathing. I teach the intentional thought model. I mean, there's so many different tools we have
Hmm.
to honor what we're feeling. And I think also we have to remember that these feelings are normal. They are absolutely normal. But are they optimal? Are they serving you? And bringing that out into the light and saying, this is what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
This is why I'm feeling it. And just acknowledging it and sitting with that. And then it's like, okay, how do I want to feel? What do I want life to look like?
Hmm.
And the thing is too, it's not going to be perfect. Um, I always encourage my clients to take a look at intensity, duration, and frequency. Are those emotions and feelings and thoughts that don't serve us, are they decreasing in intensity or even duration, how long they're lasting, or frequency, how often they're happening? And are those emotions and those thoughts that serve us, are those increasing in duration, intensity, and frequency? And just being aware of that and not putting pressure on yourself it's not a matter of always being happy. I mean, I don't want to say you can't, because there might be people out there that are like, I'm always happy. But I just know with myself and the people that I serve and all the learning I've done is those emotions are real and they need to be honored and they need to be addressed. And
Hmm.
but we don't sit in that forever. We don't live in it. We don't set up
Hmm.
house there. I tell my clients it goes in the back seat. It doesn't get to control the air conditioning and the radio and the GPS. It gets to
Hmm.
come along for the ride, but it's not controlling everything.
That's so powerful. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.